Hello, and welcome to Season 4 of Baltimore Pioneers, coming to you from the newly renovated Parkway Theater. As always, we're here to talk with the compelling thinkers and doers in Baltimore. I'm Bryce Taylor, and thanks for tuning into the student-produced show. Our guest in this episode is Chef Erik Berlin, also known as Chef Egg, a Maryland native who is a maestro in and out of the kitchen. He is a professionally trained chef, culinary instructor, and hosts of Chef Egg Live interactive cooking events. He works with veterans and military families, appears on the local news frequently, and works with the Baltimore Farmers Market. He's been featured on Food Network twice, and he travels around the country and around the world. How you doing, Chef Egg?
What's up, Chef Bryce?
I'm good. How you doing today?
Fantastic. What's going on?
Oh, well, I'm just interviewing you. All right. So, I have a question. What is Chef Egg Live?
Chef Egg Live is the only mobile interactive cooking class. So what I do is I bring cooking stations to people all over the country. We do colleges, we do military bases, we work with families, professionals, all types of people, and we actually bring them the food all cut up. We bring them knives, we bring pans, everything they need to succeed in the kitchen. They cook a 3 to 4 course meal, and they enjoy that friendship. They enjoy the cooking process with each other. And we also work on team building. We work on trying new flavors and having a lot of fun during that time.
When you see people, and there might be newcomers there, when you see people actually cooking with your utensils, they're actually trying for the first time, they're cooking, how does it make you feel?
It makes me feel awesome. I mean, it can be a little nerve-wracking when they're picking up knives for the first time, but if you teach people the basic culinary fundamentals and you're with them the whole way through, they can have nothing but success.
What Food Network shows were you featured on?
I was featured on the Food Network. I was on a show called Rewrapped. It was with Mark Summers, and we actually had to make Ritz Bits crackers with cheese and then make a gourmet dish out of that.
Now, I know you were on Food Network with Emeril Lagasse too. Can you tell me about that experience?
Sure. So we were on an Emeril Lagasse show called Emeril Green. He was walking through the grocery store and teaching people how to pick out the food and then how to cook it. And I was a cooking demonstrator for Whole Foods. So he just kept bringing the camera around, and it was kind of my first big break on national TV. And then every single time they would come around, they'd come to me. So I'd get that opportunity to interact with them and see how he works and, really learn from the best from that.
How did you feel when you first met Emeril?
It's completely nerve-wracking. I mean, the dude he's big time. And he was big time at that time. It was a couple of years ago, but it's a wonderful experience. And when you see people on TV and then you see it in real life, and you see how much work and how much passion they put into it, then it was a really fantastic example of how to treat people, how to work in a professional environment, but also how to have fun doing it.
Did you get any one-on-one time with him?
Yeah, you got to have a couple conversations with him, and every single person he interacted with was with respect, was with love, and like I said, it really showed me how I need to interact in a professional way, but also in a very personal way as well.
Along with the experience from Rewrapped and how you met Emeril, did those impact you in any way?
Yeah, it's very interesting to see how TV is made, to see how reality TV is made. It's not actually so reality based. And it also makes you see, how much work you put into something, and then how you feel when it's on TV. And sometimes it can make you feel really awesome. I put all that work and it felt great. And then sometimes you look at it and you say, all that work for 2 seconds on the screen, was that worth it? And it's another thing to see yourself on TV and then to see how it reacts with you personally, and it kind of helps you form your goals better. So if being on TV is important to you, then it's a lot of work and it might not be that fulfilling. But I found out by doing those television opportunities, by being on the local TV, that I really love to teach people one-on-one how to cook, and that's what's most fulfilling. It's also what's most financially viable for me. So I think being on TV really helps you find out what's most important for your personal life, but also for your professional life as well.
For me, I look for inspiration within my family, more specifically my mom. Who inspires you to work and cook almost every single day?
I think, I hate to say this, I inspire myself. This is what I love to do, and I have to look at the guy on TV and say, I want to be that guy. I want to be Chef Egg. And it really came back to being, I think it still comes back to that experience I had with Emeril. I have to be up to that standard. If I'm going to move forward in my profession, I've got to remember that standard that I saw and keep up with that. And it's, finding a mentor is really important. And I think at my age and where I am at my professional stage, I'm still trying to find that mentor. So you kind of find the mentor where you can find it. It's like little bits of mentor here and there. Whether it's a family member, a friend, somebody in the profession, you're going to get little bits and pieces of knowledge from everybody that you meet. And you want to learn from the good stuff that they teach you, and you want to learn from the bad stuff as well. Because you can be like, wow, that was bad. I'm not going to do that. Or that was really good. I'm totally going to do that.
I completely agree with you. So we're going to take a quick break from our conversation with Chef Egg. When we return, we'll be talking about how Chef Egg got into cooking and where his nicknames came from. Stay tuned.
Can you tell us a little bit about the difference between your experience in city schools and your experience in college?
I think that the main difference is how people act. So in Baltimore City, we have sort of like this way of kidding with each other, whereas that's not really like the social norm out with some of the county kids at UMBC, and so they'll take it kind of seriously at times. It's like sort of different cultural aspects.
"3D printers, motion capture technology, modern medical tools, engineering and architectural software, commercial kitchens, professional video cameras and editing software, laser printers, dental suites, cutting-edge technology, state-of-the-art facilities, and the most current training and tools. These are the classrooms where Baltimore City Public Schools students learn every day. This is career and technology education."
Welcome back to Baltimore Pioneers. I'm Bryce Taylor at the Parkway Theater with Chef Egg, a professionally trained chef, culinary instructor, and host of Chef Egg Live interactive cooking events. So, Chef Egg, your name is the most unique name I've ever heard. Where did the name Egg come from?
So I got a nickname Egg when I was a young kid. I grew up in Columbia, and when we were at the pool, the older kids used to throw me up in the air like a cannonball. And they said I used to get in a little egg shape. This is all like 8 years old or something like that. So I got this name Egg, and then I went to middle school and the older kids were there and they're like, oh, that's Egg. Then I went to high school and they're like, oh, Egg's here. And then I went to college and I was like, oh, nobody knows my name's Egg. Until there were some guys that I knew from back home at the school and they were like, oh, everybody, that's Egg, say hi. And then I was thinking of a name for a cooking show when I was in college. And I was like, well, let's just call it Cooking with Egg. I'm Chef Egg. And I was in culinary school at the time, so it all just kind of flowed together. And then when I got out of college, I started doing cooking classes and working in food. So Chef Egg just stuck, and it's been 30 years later, and we're still doing it. So I think Chef Egg is a cool name. Kids dig it. Adults and professionals like it. People think it's fun, and it really sticks. So you roll with it. You roll with what works.
At first you were kind of embarrassed about it, then you think about it, it's like, that's me. It's me. Right. Now, when it comes to cooking, where did that influence come from? Like, what got you into cooking?
The world wasn't like it is right now. Back in the day, in the early 80s, if you wanted to watch a cooking show, it was on PBS or Maryland Public Television. We're talking The Frugal Gourmet, Julia Childs. They had Yan Can Cook and the Cajun Cook. This dude used to drink wine on TV all day long. So those were like my early influences, and they were really cool instructional-based television shows. Very, very different than what you have now, which is like really quick, like cool things. They actually taught you how to cook. So when I was kind of forming my own ideas for cooking shows, I always stuck with, maybe a more longer form of teaching people the fundamentals of cooking, and that came from those, Julia Childs and Yan Can Cooking, things like that.
Was there any specific moment where you said, I want to cook for the rest of my life?
I think it came out of necessity because I really like good food, and there wasn't a lot of good food in my home. So I had to learn how to cook myself. And when you start learning how to cook and they start paying you money, and you're like, oh, I can do this, and they're going to pay me money, and I enjoy it, and people are really cool and nice. And it's like once you get on that adventure, like the adventure hasn't stopped for me. So like getting out of the food business is not something I can see happening because it's my way of life now. And I'm not really that good at many other things, so I'm sticking with what I'm good at, and I'm trying to get better at it every single day. And if you can make a living doing that, if you can make a living on that adventure, then you're doing a really good job for yourself.
Did you go to a culinary college, or what college did you attend?
Sure. So I had the opportunity to go to like really expensive culinary school, and I didn't have all that kind of money and didn't want to get loans. So my parents said, well, we'll pay for Anne Arundel Community College. They've got an excellent culinary program. And I actually knew I wanted to go to culinary school in high school. So I started that program as a senior in high school. So I was a year ahead of everybody else. And then after that, after I finished the culinary program there, I went to the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, where they have a hospitality program. And there's no chef certificate. There's no chef degree. So you can get a culinary arts degree, but then you need to go for your management. And that's a really important part of that educational process, because you actually learn how to manage facilities, whether it's a theater like this, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a bar, whether it's a catering operation. You need to learn how to manage people. You also need to learn how to manage a business. So all of these different things you learn through that management program, and then clearly when you're done, they send you off into the workforce, and you just have to go and wait tables and bartend and things like that. But I still take some of those skills that I got from culinary school, definitely culinary school, and then the management program afterwards gave me a base of professionalism that has taken me really, really far in my career.
Okay, I completely agree with you, especially with the programs. You have to go into a culinary program. Sadly, I'm not in a culinary program, but I try my best to get, whatever information I can from home, or just what see my mom can do. But I completely agree with you.
You're really young, so the minute you can get into these programs, the minute you can go work at a restaurant, I know we've talked about that, you're going to be way ahead of everybody else when you go into these programs, because you're going to have a certain level of professionalism, a certain level of experience as well. And you'll be rocking and rolling way ahead of everybody else.
Thank you very much. Okay, so let's take another quick break and come back as we discuss Chef Erik's contributions to the community.
Everyone has a role to play when it comes to making sure each student is in school every day. By working together, the entire school community can create a school climate that makes school a place where students want to be, and a place where teaching and learning can thrive. Schools where students and families feel welcomed, supported, and respected reinforce a culture of high attendance expectations and are exciting places to be. So do your part in making sure that all of our students are in school every day, ready to learn.
These are our future: engineers and electricians,
software designers and doctors,
construction workers and childcare providers.
They will build apps and houses, create menus and video games,
work with cutting-edge technology and kids.
They'll be found in classrooms and courtrooms, construction sites, and computer labs.
They are Baltimore City Public School students. They are career and technology education.
Welcome back to Baltimore Pioneers. I'm Bryce Taylor, here with Chef Erik, a professionally trained chef, culinary instructor, and host of Chef Erik live interactive cooking events. So, Chef Erik, I have a question. Could you tell me about working with students when you have them and you at the farmers market and they help you out?
Sure. Working with students, working with people your age at my events has been a really cool experience. I think it's a great experience for you guys. You guys get to see, get kind of down and dirty with doing an event, which is a really big deal. I get to show you guys the professionalism. We get to show you the setup and the breakdown and the preparation, because you come to cool stuff and you're like, wow, that was really cool, but you don't know all the work that the several hours before and the several hours.
Like the background behind
Yeah, you don't know the background behind it. So to show you guys that at a young age is really, really important. But it's a learning experience for you guys, but it's also a learning experience for me. And you have to understand that as a teacher is constantly learning. And every single time a teacher goes into a classroom or has a teaching experience, they're learning as well. So you have to understand, first you got to have patience. A student by nature is not always going to get it right the first time. So you've got to be with them. You have to teach them the right way. They have to understand the consequences of doing it the wrong way. So there's a lot more that goes on in the teaching process than just doing an event and then getting out of there. You've got to tell people why you're doing things. You have to help the student connect not only with the material, but how to convey that material to the other students that are there as well.
How does that make you feel when you see kids at like maybe not a young age, but you still see high school students or maybe even middle school students getting that firsthand experience in the kitchen and helping out?
I think it's phenomenal. The big thing for me is I want to teach you how to succeed in the kitchen, and there's several reasons why. And the first is I want you to eat healthy. I want you to make great food for you and yourself and your family. And I want you to enjoy the cooking process as like a relaxing, meditative thing. But I also want to turn you into somebody that can go out and get a productive job. So I'm teaching you these life skills, but I'm also giving you a level of professionalism where when you go out and you say, oh, I used to work with Chef Egg at these cooking events, or oh, I used to go to Chef Egg cooking events, somebody's going to know that you're at a certain level of professionalism. Does that make sense? And you want to set that standard so when you say, yeah, I went to a Chef Egg class, other people are like, oh yeah, you're awesome now. Like you are at a certain standard.
You're the bee's knees now.
Yeah, you're the bee's knees. You're at a certain standard because we know Chef Egg's pretty hardcore in these cooking classes. Yeah. And we know that when Chef Egg is teaching, that the students are really, really bright, they're really smart, and that when they get on the job, they know what they're doing. So to be able to give young people that opportunity to get that learning experience, and then to go out into the professional world from there, that to me is absolutely big. I want you guys to make money. I want you to be professional, I want you to be successful, and I want you to learn. And if I can help you do that, that's why we're here. I mean, that's the number one reason for being a creative person and for spreading that creativity to the community, because we want people to be successful, we want you to have good jobs, we want you to be good people, we want you to have good friends, and it all comes from that learning process of learning how to cook.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I feel like, cooking, it brings people together. That element that cooking gives, it empowers people, so it empowers the community. Now, I got a question. You were just talking about healthy cooking. How do you feel, or what do you do when you see a kid eating a Big Mac? How do you respond to that?
There's several ways you can look at this, Bryce. I remember when I was a kid, the Big Mac was totally awesome. That was the most awesomest thing you can have. And, stuffed crushed cheese pizza when you're a kid is awesome.
That's my favorite.
It's great, right? Yeah. But what you want to do for a kid is teach them, it's okay to treat yourself. You ever heard the term treat yourself?
Yeah.
Treat yourself. You can have that every once in a while, and it's enjoyable. It's really cool. But you can't eat that stuff every day. Because as you get older and you create those bad habits, a lot of stuff can start to deteriorate not only in your mind, but in your body as well very, very quickly. So we want people to understand that eating healthy can, clearly taste good. It can make you money, and it can be great for everybody that's around you. But I don't want you to deprive yourself. I always say like an ice cream sundae. Ice cream sundaes are great. We all love hot fudge, whipped cream, nuts, cherry on top. It's fantastic. Can you eat an ice cream sundae every day?
No, you can't.
No, you cannot. You'll get unhealthy. You'll get bigger. What you actually do is lose the taste for ice cream sundaes. So it's nothing that's so special anymore. So if you have stuffed crust pizza every day, if you have a Big Mac every day, it's not that special treat. It's not special. So as I get older, I'm trying to be like, I do something good. I work really hard, and like at the end of the week, I can have like, a big fat cheeseburger. I love bacon cheeseburger with the fries and the pickles and the whole thing.
The whole shebang.
The whole shebang. But if you have it every day, it's not that great. It doesn't taste good. And you'll learn that lesson, I think, the more you get older. Because when you're your age, you're like, I got some money. Let's get stuffed crust pizza every day. Then where's all your money go?
Down the drain.
It goes down the drain. Then you're like, I can make stuffed crust pizza. It costs me like a third of the cost. More of my friends can have stuffed crust pizza. So there's so many reasons why stuffed crust pizza is great, but it's a special treat. And I think the thing to teach young people is keep treats as treats. But the rest of the time, like, what I really love, it's really healthy. I love roasted carrots. Love roasted carrots. They're delicious.
I like celery.
I mean, celery's okay, but like roasted carrots and sweet potatoes, a roasted chicken, something really simple like that can be really awesome, and you can eat that every day. But if you eat the bad stuff every day, it's not as special, and I like to keep the special stuff special.
I totally agree with you. It's like you don't want to spoil it.
You don't want to spoil it, absolutely.
All right, so let's take our last break for this episode. And when Baltimore Pioneers returns, Chef Egg will talk more about his contributions to the community and advice for young chefs out there. Don't go anywhere.
These are our future: engineers and electricians,
Software designers and doctors.
construction workers and childcare providers.
They will build apps and houses, create menus and video games.
Work with cutting-edge technology and kids.
They'll be found in classrooms and courtrooms, construction sites, and computer labs.
They are Baltimore City Public School students. They are career and technology education.
I am a Baltimore City Public School student.
maa ngi laara goma Baltimore City Public School.
maa ngi dëkk ci Baltimore City bi.
Salut, je suis une élève de Baltimore City Public School.
Soy un estudiante de Baltimore City Public Schools. أنا طالب في مدارس بالتيمور الحكومية.
We are Baltimore
City Public School students.
And we celebrate diversity.
Every day.
Work is underway on modernizing school buildings, like here at Fort Worthington Elementary Middle School.
The type of school buildings we deserve.
Our new schools will provide community-friendly spaces and be better for our environment. They will allow for innovative technology and 21st century teaching and learning.
The 21st Century School Buildings program is positively affecting my education and my city.
That's right. Learn more about this major commitment from the state, City of Baltimore, and city schools by visiting baltimore21stcenturyschools.org. Building a brighter future together.
Welcome back to the final segment for this episode of Baltimore Pioneers. I'm Bryce Taylor here at the historic Parkway Theater with Chef Egg. So, Chef Egg, I know you cook with veterans and their families. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, man. I started cooking with veterans and their families at Walter Reed Hospital in about 2008 as part of my work with Whole Foods Market. And I've been doing it for 9 years. I actually just did a class yesterday. And through that process, I have cooked with Wounded Warriors, the Wounded Warrior Project. I've cooked with Navy SEALs, like hardcore Navy SEALs and their families. And I've also traveled all the way around the world. 2 summers ago, I went to Bahrain, which is the Middle East, and we went to Djibouti in Africa. And a couple years ago, we actually went to Egypt, like Pyramids, Egypt, cooking for soldiers and their families all over the world. So through that one opportunity that I had at work, and I did a really good job at it, many more opportunities open for me all over the world. And I think it's one of the coolest things I've ever done, but it's also the thing that makes me feel the best. And you have to understand, you know, some jobs will pay you a lot of money and they won't be that fun. And you'll kind of feel like, that was...
Like, why am I here?
Yeah, why am I here? Why are you here? Because they're paying you money. That's why you're here. And then some of these jobs, you do it for free. And you do it for free every single day. You go to the poorhouse doing these jobs because they make you feel so fantastic. You guys want to hear a cool story?
Sure.
I did a cooking class for a guy who's a Marine, really hardcore guy. And he had an amputee. He had a missing arm amputation. He came in one day and he had a knife prosthetic connected to his amputated arm. I've never seen anything more cool in my whole entire life. Yeah, a 10-inch stainless steel chef's knife attached to his, as a prosthesis. And I was like, that's the coolest thing. This dude was chopping, slicing, dicing like a professional. Nothing stopped this dude. And that was a big lesson for me. I was like, nothing can stop me. Like, absolutely nothing can stop me, because if this guy can do it, anybody can do it. So working with this guy with a prosthetic knife on his arm, you know, you learn nothing can stop you. And when you hear people saying, well, I can't do this and I can't do that, and the world's coming down on me and I'm a victim, I want to say, look at the guy with the prosthetic knife. He could go into any kitchen all the way around the world.
He's persevering.
Yeah, he's persevering. He can do it. And if he can do it, you can do it. And I can do it. And that makes me like, it makes you want to do it more.
Yeah, so I would assume you do these things because truly they just make, not only make other people feel good, but for you they make you feel good. They let you know that you're making an impact.
I mean,
that you're helping people out.
I would love to. It'd be great to be like, I made Bryce happy today. That's great. But if I'm not happy inside, then your happiness doesn't mean anything to me. But if I'm happy inside and I spread that happiness to you, and you spread that to your mom, and she spreads that to her neighbor, we just made like a lot of people happy. And that is, that's what we're here for. Nothing more, nothing less. To teach, to help people grow, to put a smile on their face, to put food in their belly, and that's what the food world is all about.
So, as we're coming to a close in the 2017 year, I want to know, is there anything big planned for next year? Anything brewing up?
I think, continuing with what we've done, setting the foundation, but I have really big dreams and aspirations. I've got a really cool television show on my website, cookingwithegg.com. I made a TV show called Chef Egg's Cooking Experience, and it's a cooking show unlike anybody's ever seen.
Cooking experience?
Experience. And I made these little characters that live in the kitchen, and they talk to me, and it was an idea that I had. I put a lot of money, I put a lot of time into it, but what it wasn't doing is paying me money. It was actually costing a lot of money. So I had to put that on the back burner. So what I did is I kind of beefed up my professional side. And what I'm going to do this year is keep up with my professional side because we worked that foundation. And then we're going to go into some more creative projects, try to get that TV show picked up because it's something I put a lot of heart into, a lot of energy, a lot of money, and a lot of love. And I want to see that grow. But I also have, we do these cooking classes and we do a lot of community stuff, but it's to help grow a foundation so you can go out and charge people a lot of money for what you do. Because we talked about the happiness part. When you're an adult, you got to pay the bills. So I'm doing a lot of corporate stuff now. I'm also doing a lot of college activities as well. So these corporate and college things can make you a lot of money. I mean, that's really how you get on a national acclaim, a national level, is by traveling the country and going out there as a professional, and that takes a lot of work as well. So a lot of cool creative things that I've worked on, I want to take that to the next level, and then take my professional stuff to the next level. And you got to make that money, but you also have to be creatively happy. You have to grow. You've got to teach. So there's a lot of things I want to do. Just taking things to the next level, personally and professionally, is really important to me in the next year.
I totally agree with you. Do you have any advice for any young chefs like me who are just getting into the industry, and just because I know it can be really, really hard. It's hard to find a cooking job at a young age, and it might be hard to find one at an older age. Do you have any advice?
Sure. So finding a cooking job is never going to be hard because people always have to eat. And being in this business, my parents always said, you'll always eat. And that's a good thing because that's what parents want for the kids. They want them to be able to provide for themselves. But as a young person, the best thing I can tell you to do is go bus tables. When you're in a restaurant, you're not going to get a kitchen job. You got to be between 16 and 18 to do that. And it's very, very difficult until you're probably around the age of 18. But you get a job, bus tables. You watch the waiters, you watch the servers, you watch the cooks. One day, they're going to say, we need somebody to wash some dishes. You go wash the dishes, you're in the kitchen. Somebody's not going to show up on the prep line. We need somebody to prep. Who's going to be there? Bryce Taylor's going to be there. You know what I mean? And you're always there, you're always smiling, you're always ready to work. And that's how you get up, and that's how you grow. So I'd say the first thing for a young person to do is just get in the restaurant. And it doesn't matter if it's a sub shop on the corner. It doesn't matter if it's a fancy restaurant in Harbor East. Getting your foot in the door is number one. The dishes are dirty in the fancy restaurant, and they're dirty in the sub shop. You're going to get paid minimum wage in both places. You know what I mean? So getting your foot in the door doesn't matter where it is, because your next step, let's say you don't want to work at the sub shop anymore, then you go to, a chain restaurant and say, hey, I used to work here, I've got experience. And every time you get stepped up and you get stepped up. And when you're there working and somebody doesn't show up, who gets the opportunity? You do. So the biggest thing I have to say is show up and be there.
Well, thank you, Chef Egg. I had an amazing time. I love the advice that you gave, and it was amazing. And I'd like to thank you for watching Baltimore Pioneers, a program where we talk with thinkers and doers in Baltimore. And I would also like to thank the Parkway Theater for allowing us to film here. This show is produced by the City School Student Media Team and is brought to you by the Proximity Project and Education Channel 77 of Baltimore City Public Schools. This has been Baltimore Pioneers. I'm Bryce Taylor. See you next time. Oh, shit, what'd you have for lunch?